The morning sky over Brooklyn looked like someone had spilled gray paint across it. Thin rain streaked down the apartment windows, tapping a nervous rhythm that matched Maya Turner's heartbeat. "Mama, you forgot my dinosaur lunchbox," 5-year-old Eli called from the couch, still wearing one sock and holding a spoon like a sword. Maya groaned softly, juggling a coffee cup, her handbag, and her phone pressed between her shoulder and ear. "Yes, I know. Eli, I'm getting it. No, Mrs. Carter, I promise the presentation will be ready. No, I'm not quitting. Okay, maybe I'm crying a little, but that's just caffeine." She ended the call, stuffed the last piece of toast into her mouth, kissed Eli's cheek, and rushed out the door. The hallway lights flickered like a bad omen. She didn't have time to notice. Outside, the street glistened with puddles and yellow cab lights. Maya tugged her jacket tighter, shivering in the early chill. Her phone buzzed again. "Uber, your driver is arriving in 2 minutes." Perfect. Maybe, just maybe, she could make it to work before her manager's disappointed dad lecture. Then she saw it. A sleek black car pulling up at the curb. A man stepped out, holding an umbrella. He was tall, with dark hair slicked back and an expensive-looking coat. Maya's eyes widened. "Finally, you're 5 minutes late," she said, ducking under the umbrella as if this was the most normal thing in the world. The man blinked once, a small flicker of surprise, but then opened the rear door for her with effortless politeness. "My apologies," he said, voice calm and deep. Traffic on Fifth was brutal. She slid into the back seat, sighing as the warm leather hugged her. "Tell me about it. New York traffic is Satan's punishment." The man got into the driver's seat, glancing at her through the mirror with a trace of amusement. "Rough morning." "You have no idea," she muttered, rummaging through her bag. "My kid's got a fever, my rent's overdue, and my boss thinks I'm allergic to punctuality." Sound eventful. His tone was careful, like he was trying not to laugh. "Oh, and cherry on top?" Maya continued, tapping her phone. "Today we meet the new CEO. Apparently, he's one of those visionary genius types. Translation: rich, out of touch, and allergic to normal people." The man said thoughtfully. "He sounds awful. Right? They say he's from some investment firm uptown. Probably never took the subway in his life. I bet he doesn't even know what a bagel costs." There was a small silence. Then, softly, "I might have an idea." She leaned forward, curious. "Oh, yeah? You ever met one of those guys?" "Once or twice," he said, the corner of his mouth twitching. She smirked. "And let me guess, suits that cost more than rent, smiles that make you want to roll your eyes?" He chuckled, low and warm. "You're not entirely wrong." Maya grinned for the first time that morning. "See? Finally, someone who gets it." For a moment, the car ride felt almost peaceful, rain whispering against the glass, city lights blurring outside. She leaned back, letting her mind drift between exhaustion and amusement. When the car slowed to a stop, she looked up. "Oh, wow. Perfect timing. That's my building." He turned in his seat, face calm, polite, but something about his eyes made her hesitate. Sharp, intelligent, faintly amused eyes. She fumbled for cash. "How much do I owe you?" He blinked. "Excuse me?" "Your fare for the ride." She held out a $5 bill, her last one, realizing too late how ridiculous it sounded. The man hesitated, then took it slowly, expression unreadable. "Thank you," he said finally. Maya nodded, grabbing her bag. "Keep the change." "I will," he replied softly. She darted into the building, muttering under her breath. "Okay, Maya, you made it." No disasters. Yet. Behind her, the man leaned back in the driver's seat, the faintest smirk playing on his lips. He unfolded the small note she'd accidentally dropped in the seat, a company ID badge. Maya Turner, marketing assistant, Coal Industries. Coal Industries, he repeated quietly. "Well, that's interesting." He pocketed the badge, eyes glinting. Then, after a brief pause, he started the car and pulled away from the curb, straight toward the same glass tower Maya had just entered. The elevator chimed, spilling Maya Turner into the marble-floored lobby of Coal Industries. Her wet sneakers squeaked across the polished surface, drawing a few judgmental looks from reception. She managed a quick smile, the kind that said, "Yes, I'm late. Please don't say it out loud." Her best friend and fellow office survivor, Clara, waved from the security gate, holding a coffee cup like a peace offering. "You look like you fought the weather and lost," she whispered as Maya hurried over. "I did," Maya hissed. "And traffic. And my dignity. You're in luck. The new CEO's welcome meeting hasn't started yet." "Oh, thank God." They speed-walked toward the elevators. Maya caught her reflection in the mirror doors. Damp hair, mascara smudge, and a coffee stain that looked suspiciously like a continent on her blouse. She sighed. "I look like the before shot of a makeover ad." "Relax," Clara said. "He's probably some 50-year-old executive who won't even notice." Maya groaned. "Let's hope." Upstairs, the conference room buzzed with anticipation. The company's old logo gleamed above a massive presentation screen. Every employee who could possibly fit in the room was crammed inside, straightening ties and refreshing lipstick. The air reeked of nerves and perfume. Mr. Grayson, her former boss and resident perfectionist, stood near the front, rehearsing his fake smile. "Everyone stand straight. The new CEO, Mr. Ethan Cole, is arriving any moment. We will make an excellent impression, understood?" Maya rolled her eyes. "Oh, sure. The visionary genius himself. Can't wait." The double doors opened, and there he was, Ethan Cole, the driver. For a moment, Maya's brain refused to process reality. The man she'd mistaken for an Uber driver, the one she tipped $5 and called a corporate robot, walked in wearing a charcoal suit that looked like it was tailored by angels. Every employee rose to their feet. Maya stayed frozen. He walked to the front of the room, calm and confident, eyes scanning the faces before him, and then landing on hers. Their eyes met. His lips curved ever so slightly. That same teasing, knowing smirk. Maya's stomach dropped. No. Please let this be some kind of hallucination. "Good morning," Ethan began, voice even smooth, completely in control. "I'm Ethan Cole, your new CEO. Some of you may already know my family's investment firm merged with this company earlier this year. I'm looking forward to what we can build together." He continued his speech, inspiring, forward-thinking, everything a leader should say, but Maya barely heard a word. The sound in her head was a single, repeating alarm. "That's him. That's my Uber driver." Clara, sitting beside her, leaned over and whispered, "Wow, he's young, and, devastatingly not 50. "Shut up," Maya mouthed, clutching her notepad like a shield. "Are you okay? You look like you've seen a ghost." "I might have," Maya whispered back. Ethan's gaze drifted toward their end of the table again. For a split second their eyes locked, and he gave the smallest nod, a glint of humor in his eyes. Maya ducked her head, pretending to take notes, writing one panic sentence. "Moved to Alaska immediately." As the presentation wrapped up, Ethan invited questions. A few hands went up. Maya silently prayed no one would call on her. But fate, as always, had a cruel sense of humor. "Yes, Miss Turner, was it?" Ethan said casually, scanning the list in front of him. Every head turned. Maya froze mid-breath. Yes, sir. You had some interesting points in your quarterly report. I'd like to hear more about your ideas for local outreach." Her throat went dry. "Oh, yes, of course." She stood, aware of 100 eyes watching her. Her voice trembled at first, but found rhythm as she talked about creative branding, affordable marketing, connecting with real customers. By the end, a few people were nodding in agreement. When she sat down, Ethan smiled approvingly. "Excellent. That's exactly the kind of perspective we need." Maya blinked. Was he complimenting her? Then he added with a subtle lift of his brow, "You certainly make a strong impression." Clara covered her mouth, trying not to laugh. Maya kicked her under the table. When the meeting ended, chaos erupted. People buzzing around Ethan, eager to shake hands and impress him. Maya stayed glued to her chair, wishing she could melt into the floor. Clara leaned close. "You know him, don't you? That look, he recognized you." Don't, Maya hissed. Don't say it. Don't breathe it. Don't think it. So what happened? I mistook him for my Uber driver this morning. Clara's mouth dropped open. Oh my God! You what? I got in his car. I told him rich CEOs were probably allergic to normal people. Clara slapped a hand over her mouth to muffle a snort. You didn't. I did. And then I tipped him $5. Clara was shaking with silent laughter. You are officially my hero. As the room cleared, Ethan lingered at the door, chatting with executives. Maya kept her head down, pretending to read emails that didn't exist. Just when she thought she was safe, his voice cut through the hum of conversation. Miss Turner? Every muscle in her body went rigid. Slowly, she turned. Ethan stood near the door, expression unreadable but eyes bright with amusement. When you have a moment, I'd like a quick word in my office. Maya nodded weakly, trying to look composed. Of course, sir. As he turned to leave, Clara whispered, Oh, he's definitely teasing you. Clara, this is not funny. It's hilarious, Clara said, smirking. He looks like a man who enjoys a good plot twist. Maya sank into her chair after he left, head in her hands. I'm going to be fired, aren't I? Clara sipped her coffee, grinning. Fired? Honey, after that, you might just get promoted. By noon, Maya Turner had convinced herself that getting fired wouldn't be that bad. Sure, she'd lose her apartment, her health insurance, and probably her mind, but at least she wouldn't have to face Ethan Cole ever again. Still, she couldn't stop glancing at her inbox. No email, no calendar invite titled termination meeting. Just silence. When Clara passed her desk, she whispered, He hasn't called you in yet? No, Maya said, eyes darting to the glass office upstairs. He's probably drafting the nicest sounding pink slip in company history. Clara grinned. Or maybe he's just curious about the woman who dared tip him $5. Clara, Maya muttered, You're not helping. Around 2:00, the message finally came. From Ethan Cole. Subject, quick chat. Her stomach dropped. Quick chat, the two most terrifying words in office language. Clara leaned over the cubicle wall. You're doomed. Thanks for the pep talk. Smile, apologize, and maybe bring him another $5 bill. Maya shot her a look that could kill and gathered her courage and her laptop before heading toward his corner office. The moment she stepped inside, she was reminded this man lived on a completely different planet. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked Central Park, sunlight reflecting off chrome surfaces and glass shelves lined with awards. Ethan looked up from his laptop, perfectly calm, a faint glimmer of amusement in his eyes. Miss Turner, he said smoothly, please have a seat. Maya perched at the edge of the chair like she was awaiting a sentence. Mr. Cole, before you say anything, I just want to sincerely apologize for this morning. He raised an eyebrow. Apologize? For what exactly? For mistaking you for my Uber driver and for, She swallowed hard, tipping you. A small silence followed. Then, to her horror, Ethan smiled. You forgot calling me a corporate robot. Her eyes widened. Oh no, you remember that. I have an excellent memory, he said dryly. Though, to be fair, I don't usually get called that before 9 a.m. Maya buried her face in her hands. I'm mortified. I gathered as much, Ethan said, his tone teasing but not unkind. Relax, Miss Turner. I'm not offended. Actually, it was refreshing. She blinked. Refreshing? Yes. People usually treat me like I'm about to buy the moon. You, on the other hand, told me I looked late for my shift. Maya groaned. I was having a terrible morning. My son was sick, I was late, and... Your son? Ethan interrupted gently. She nodded. Eli, he's 5. Smart, stubborn, and apparently allergic to wearing 2 socks at once. A chuckle escaped him before he could stop it. Sounds like a handful. You have no idea, she said, smiling despite herself. Something softened in his eyes, not pity, but understanding. You're raising him alone? Yeah, it's been a lot, but he's the reason I keep going. He nodded slowly, almost thoughtfully, as if filing that away somewhere important. Then his tone shifted slightly, still warm but professional. Actually, I called you in because I reviewed your marketing reports this morning. Oh, Maya straightened. Right, the reports. You've been handling several local outreach accounts. Yes, sir. Mostly small-scale promotions. Nothing major. I disagree, Ethan said. Your ideas show initiative, especially the community-based campaign for the coffee chain. Maya blinked. You read that? I did, and I liked it. Her heart did a small, disbelieving flip. You did? He leaned back, crossing his arms. It's innovative, authentic, and exactly the kind of direction I want to see from this company, which is why I'm assigning you to help lead our next big campaign. She stared at him. Wait, led? Me? Yes, he said simply. I think you have a voice worth hearing. Maya opened and closed her mouth a few times before sound finally emerged. Sir, with all due respect, are you sure? I mean, He smiled faintly. The woman who mistook me for an Uber driver? I'm quite sure. She exhaled a shaky laugh. I'm never living that down, am I? Not if I can help it, he said, amusement dancing in his voice. The tension eased into something almost light. She found herself smiling again, more at ease than she expected. Well, she said, rising to her feet, thank you for not firing me, or suing me for emotional distress. Don't tempt me, Ethan replied, grinning. As she turned to leave, he added, Oh, and Miss Turner? She stopped. Yes. Next time you need a ride, he said smoothly, you can just ask. No need to open random car doors. Maya groaned. You're never going to let that go, are you? Not a chance. She shook her head, half laughing, half dying inside. You really are impossible. I prefer persistent, he said. She left his office feeling strangely buoyant, embarrassed, yes, but also seen. No one had ever looked at her work like that before, not even Grayson. When she returned to her desk, Clara was waiting with raised brows. Well, fired or promoted? Neither. Something worse, Maya said, dropping into her chair. Worse. I have to work directly with him on the new campaign. Clara's grin widened. Oh, this is going to be good. Maya shot her a glare. It's going to be professional. Uh-huh, Clara said. Totally. Just don't call him your Uber driver again. Please stop reminding me. The office lights glowed like a small galaxy against the Manhattan skyline as Maya Turner tapped her pen against the conference table. Around her, empty chairs suggested the rest of the company had long gone home. Yet here she was, and so was Ethan Cole, leaning against the window, reviewing campaign proposals on a tablet. Do you ever go home? She asked, voice a mixture of exhaustion and amusement. He looked up, a faint smirk tugging at his lips. Occasionally, but sometimes work is more interesting than dinner. Maya rolled her eyes. I should introduce you to cereal. You might like it. It's exciting and requires no board meetings. Ethan chuckled, shaking his head. I think I'll survive. She glanced around. You know, I wasn't sure you were human this morning. Why is that? You smiled politely while I vented about my terrible life, and didn't fire me, or mock me. He leaned back in the chair, folded his hands behind his head. You're refreshingly honest. People usually pretend, even when they're desperate. You didn't. Maya couldn't help a small laugh. I was desperate, and possibly delusional. Silence fell for a few moments, broken only by the soft hum of the air conditioner. Outside, the city pulsed. Taxis honking, a fire truck racing past, neon signs flickering against puddles on the street. You have a son, right? Ethan asked suddenly. Maya nodded. Lie. He's 5. Boss of my heart. Dictator of the living room. I remember you mentioning him. Ethan said, sounds like a strong personality. He is. Stubborn, loud, genius-level imagination. Thinks the dog speaks to him. Makes mornings lively. Ethan smiled softly. I can see why you keep going. Maya felt a strange warmth spread through her chest. No one had ever said that to her about Eli, or her. The hours passed. They brainstormed, scribbled notes on giant whiteboards, debated social media strategies, and sampled leftover pastries from the break room. "So," Maya said, picking up a half-eaten chocolate croissant, "you think this campaign will actually get people talking about the company?" "I do," Ethan replied, "but only if it feels real. That's why I want you on this. You know how to make people care." Maya blinked. "You think I know what I'm doing?" "Yes," he said, without hesitation. "And I've met a lot of people who pretend they do." Her chest swelled with a mixture of pride and disbelief. The man she had literally mocked in a car 5 hours ago was now praising her work. She shook her head, laughing softly. "I can't believe this. $5, a wet morning, and I ended up impressing the CEO. Life is weird." "You made me laugh before I even knew you worked here," he said quietly. Maya's heart skipped. "You're supposed to be intimidating," she whispered, almost to herself. "I find fear overrated," he said, eyes glinting. "Curiosity and honesty go much further." After several hours, the office had emptied completely. The fluorescent lights reflected in the glass walls, painting them with a soft glow. Maya rubbed her temples. "I should probably head home before Eli thinks I've abandoned him to a life of spaghetti and cartoons." Ethan stood, offering her a hand toward the door. "I'll walk you out. Or drive you?" Maya hesitated. No, I'm fine. Public transportation, wet sneakers, mild panic. It builds character." He smiled faintly. "Character, huh?" "Yes." "And patience. And the ability to hold a 5-year-old hostage with snacks." He laughed softly, genuinely. "You're remarkable, you know that?" Maya felt her cheeks flush. "I get that a lot. Usually from exes who regret it." He raised an eyebrow. "Ah, yes. Well, I'm not your ex." "No, thankfully not," she replied, with a small smirk. The two walked toward the lobby. Rain had stopped, leaving the streets glistening and reflective. Neon lights bounced off puddles. The hum of the city filled the silence between them. "So," Ethan said, "how do you manage all of this?" "Work Eli chaos." "By making it up as I go," Maya replied, "mostly with caffeine and sheer stubbornness. And sometimes cry in the shower." "Shower tears are underrated," he said, smirking. "Cleans the soul." Maya laughed, the sound light and unburdened. "I'll remember that." As they reached the street, a taxi splashed water on the curb. Maya jumped back, laughing, tugging her bag tighter. "See? Chaos," she said. "Yes," Ethan agreed, "but manageable." She looked at him, really looked, and saw not a corporate robot or an intimidating CEO, but someone human, someone attentive, and, she realized with a small jolt, someone who genuinely seemed to care. "I'll see you tomorrow?" he asked, almost casually. "Yes," she said, surprised at how natural it felt to say it. The lobby of the Plaza Hotel sparkled like a million stars. Crystal chandeliers hung from the ceiling, their light reflecting off polished marble floors. The hum of conversation mixed with the clinking of glasses and the soft notes of a live piano. Maya Turner tugged at the borrowed black gown Clara had insisted she wear. It was elegant, simple, and still somehow made her feel like a cat in a sea of peacocks. She smoothed the fabric nervously, clutching her small clutch purse. "This is fancy," she whispered, more to herself than anyone else. Clara appeared beside her, in a striking red dress. "Fancy, yes. Intimidating, definitely. But you," she tapped Maya's shoulder, "you'll survive? Probably steal the show." Maya groaned. "Steal the show? I can barely manage not to spill champagne on myself." "Confidence," Clara said with mock authority. "Own it. Smile. Don't faint." Across the room, Ethan Cole stood tall, impeccably dressed in a tailored tuxedo. His sharp eyes scanned the crowd, but the moment he saw Maya step into the room, the rest of the world seemed to blur. Her gown hugged her figure in all the right places, her hair styled with understated elegance, and her nerves radiating charm in a way that no high society protocol could suppress. He felt a faint jolt. She's incredible, he thought. Not just beautiful, compelling, unpretentious, alive. Maya felt eyes on her, but she didn't realize it was him, until someone brushed past, muttering, "You work for Coal Industries, right?" Her chest tightened. Oh no, here comes judgment. Sure enough, Mr. Grayson, her former supervisor, appeared with that smug smile he reserved for moments when he could assert superiority. "Well, Maya," he said loudly, loud enough for a few nearby guests to hear. "Interesting to see you here. Quite the change from your usual uniform, isn't it?" Maya's stomach sank. She forced a smile. "Yes, well, black is slimming. Very slimming." "Not what I meant," he said dryly, smirking. Before the embarrassment could deepen, Ethan stepped forward, placing a hand lightly on Maya's elbow. "I happen to think she looks extraordinary," he said, loud enough for the room to notice. Heads turned. Conversations paused. A few guests muttered among themselves. Maya's eyes widened. "You what?" Ethan's gaze swept the room, calm and commanding. Her work ethic, her creativity, her integrity. Not to mention, she's someone who brings the kind of perspective I want here. That deserves recognition. Mr. Grayson's smirk faltered. Maya blinked. "Mouth agape," she whispered. "Did you just—" Ethan leaned closer, voice soft but teasing. "Never underestimate the power of honesty and courage, Miss Turner." Maya's cheeks warmed, partly from pride, partly from a heat of embarrassment. Later, a slow piano melody started. Guests paired off, gliding across the ballroom floor. Ethan extended a hand. "May I have this dance?" Maya hesitated. "Dance? Yes, a dance," he said smoothly, an edge of humor in his voice. She glanced around, a room full of polished, intimidating professionals, and then back at him. "I guess we could try it." He offered a small, playful bow. "It's New York City. Anything is possible." They moved toward the dance floor, tentative at first. Ethan's hand was warm, steady, guiding her with confidence. "You're really good at this," Maya said, half amused, half surprised. "I've been known to practice," he replied, smirk in place. "Mostly to impress people who underestimate me." Maya laughed softly, the sound blending with the soft music. For a few minutes, they existed in their own world. A bustling city and a glittering ballroom outside, irrelevant. Then a sharp voice cut through their bubble. "Ah, yes. You're the assistant, aren't you? Maya Turner?" It was a board member, old and judgmental. He leaned forward with an air of superiority. "I always wondered why someone like you even works here. Surely you know your place." Maya's fingers tightened on Ethan's hand. Heat rushed to her cheeks, but she kept her composure. Ethan's eyes narrowed slightly. He didn't need to say a word. The room quieted as he stepped in front of her. "Ms. Turner's work ethic, creativity, and insight are invaluable to this company," he said firmly, voice calm but cutting. "She's someone who elevates the team, and anyone who doubts that will soon learn why." The man faltered. Maya's jaw dropped. Ethan's praise had silenced the room. Whispers replaced snide remarks. Maya could barely speak. Thank you," she stammered, her heart pounding. "You earned it," he said softly, just for her. After the dance, they stepped onto a balcony overlooking the lit streets of Manhattan. Rain had fallen earlier, leaving the roads glistening under neon signs. The city sparkled like it was celebrating their small victory together. Ethan handed her a glass of sparkling water. "You handled yourself remarkably in there." Maya laughed nervously. "I didn't know what I was doing. You basically saved me." He shook his head. "You didn't need saving. You needed someone to see you for who you really are." She glanced up at him, caught in the glow of city lights and soft music, and realized how much she'd been underestimating this man, not just as a CEO, but as someone real, human, and unexpectedly warm. "Thank you," she said, quiet but sincere. He smiled. "I'm glad you're here, Maya. Truly." The Monday morning sunlight filtered through the coal industry's windows, reflecting off the glass walls and casting geometric patterns across the polished floors. Maya Turner sat at her desk, coffee in hand, but her heart wasn't in caffeine or marketing strategy. It was in the low, buzzing hum of gossip that seemed to follow her through the office. "Did you see them at the gala?" whispered Clara, leaning over the cubicle wall, trying to be discreet. Maya froze mid-sip. "What do you mean?" "They danced. together, like everyone saw. Maya groaned. Clara! Stop whispering like I'm some kind of social experiment gone wrong. People always see everything here. Clara's grin widened. Exactly. It's hilarious. I am not laughing. By lunchtime, the whispers had grown louder, weaving through the office like wildfire. Maya tried to focus on her spreadsheet, but her phone buzzed repeatedly. Texts from co-workers, social media tags, and even a notification from an office group chat. Maya and Mr. Cole, office power couple? Her cheeks flushed crimson. Power couple? She muttered a curse under her breath. I can't believe this is happening. Just as she was about to escape the bathroom for a breather, a familiar, unwelcome voice cut through the hum. Look who's here. Maya turned. Her ex-boyfriend, Ryan, leaning casually against a cubicle wall, smirked. I see you've moved up, or at least danced your way into someone's favor. Maya's hand tightened around her coffee cup. Ryan, what are you doing here? Checking in, he said, voice dripping sarcasm. Making sure you're not. Using your new friend to get ahead. Clara hissed under her breath. Ugh, he's impossible. Maya took a deep breath. Ryan, that's not true. Ethan is my boss, a real professional. I'm working for my own abilities, not... She trailed off, unable to finish without glaring. Before Ryan could respond, Ethan appeared in the doorway, hands in his pockets, eyes scanning the scene. Everything okay here? His tone was calm, measured, but Maya caught the sharp edge underneath, protective, not possessive, but very real. Ryan straightened, suddenly aware of the CO standing beside Maya. Yes, sir. Just catching up. Ethan's gaze lingered on Ryan for a long second, then softened as he looked at Maya. If anyone here makes you feel uncomfortable, you come to me. Understood? Yes, sir, she murmured, grateful and flustered. Ryan, clearly uncomfortable now, muttered something about meetings and left. Maya exhaled shakily. Later that day, the office rumor mill reached peak velocity. Heads turned as she walked past, whispers of CO crush and favorite employee echoing softly. Maya ducked into the conference room, slamming the door behind her. She leaned against it, heart racing. Why does this always happen to me? She groaned. A soft knock interrupted her sulking. May I come in? She looked up. Ethan's familiar calm presence filled the room. He closed the door gently behind him. You don't need to explain anything to me, he said quietly. I know the rumors, and frankly, they're ridiculous. Maya looked at him, incredulous. You actually care? He nodded. I do. And more importantly, I care about how you feel about it. Her chest tightened. I don't want to cause trouble. I don't want to be the office headline. Ethan stepped closer, soft but firm. You're not causing trouble. You're being yourself. And if anyone can't see that, it's their problem, not yours. She swallowed, feeling a small swell of gratitude. Thank you. Really. That evening, Maya returned home, still tense. Eli greeted her at the door with a toy dinosaur in hand. Mom, did Mr. CO give you a new mission? She laughed despite herself. Something like that, buddy. Her phone buzzed again, a message from Ethan. Hope your day ended better than it started. If you need to vent, my door is open. Maya stared at the message, her fingers hovering over the keyboard. For the first time, she realized she wasn't just thinking about her career. She was thinking about him. The next day, a new challenge appeared. A client meeting requiring her to present a marketing strategy in front of Ethan and the board. She rehearsed relentlessly, pacing her apartment and practicing speeches in the mirror. Eli, perched on the counter with his juice box, offered his own advice. Mom, just be nice. And smart. And funny. Maya laughed. Noted, boss. At the office, whispers didn't stop. But Maya found herself walking taller, less worried about judgment. Ethan gave her a subtle nod as she entered the boardroom, and for the first time, she felt a flicker of confidence. You've got this, he said under his breath. And for the first time, Maya believed him. The spring sun filtered through Coal Industries' glass facade, casting long golden beams across the bustling office. Maya Turner sat at her desk, Reviewing final drafts of the marketing campaign she had poured weeks of creativity, late nights, and sheer determination into, Clara leaned over her cubicle wall, smirking. "You're glowing." The rumor mill must have finally shut down. Maya laughed, shaking her head. "No, it's just finally feeling like I belong. And maybe slightly terrifying because the CEO thinks I'm amazing." Clara's grin widened. "Slightly terrifying? That's New York understatement at its finest." Maya rolled her eyes but couldn't hide the smile tugging at her lips. Meanwhile, across the office, Ethan Cole reviewed the campaign one final time. He glanced up at the clock and noticed Maya focused, confident, and quietly commanding attention from her peers. He leaned back in his chair, a small, satisfied smile forming. She's come a long way, and she's only just begun. Later that afternoon, the boardroom buzzed with anticipation. The final presentation was about to begin. Maya adjusted her blazer, fingers tapping lightly on the table. This wasn't just a campaign. It was her proving ground. Ethan entered quietly, giving her a subtle nod of encouragement. She caught his gaze, and for a brief second, the entire room seemed to shrink. It was just the two of them, and all the chaos outside faded. Maya took a deep breath. "Good afternoon, everyone. Today I'm presenting a campaign designed not just to reach customers, but to connect with them on a human level." Her voice was steady, confident, clear. Charts, slides, and social media mock-ups followed. Every word was calculated, passionate, yet genuine. She felt the energy shift in the room. Heads nodded. Murmurs of approval floated across the table. When she finished, silence hung for a moment. Then Ethan clapped softly, the sound filling the room. "Brilliant," he said simply. "Exactly the vision I hoped for." Maya blinked. "Thank you, sir." "No, thank you, Miss Turner, for your creativity, dedication, and honesty. You've elevated this campaign and this company." For the first time, Maya's chest swelled with pride rather than panic. She had worked tirelessly, and it was recognized by the CEO who had once been an Uber driver in her eyes, and who now clearly saw her for her talent. Later, in the break room, the office buzzed with celebration. Champagne corks popped, glasses clinked, and laughter filled the space. Clara sidled up to Maya, raising an eyebrow. "Well," she asked, eyes sparkling, "did the CEO finally admit you're a genius?" Maya rolled her eyes, laughing. He was very complimentary. "And terrifyingly charming. As always." "Terrifyingly charming? You're in trouble, Maya." "Clara, let's focus on surviving the day first," Maya said, smirking. By evening, the office had emptied. Maya packed her bag, feeling the weight of exhaustion mixed with exhilaration. The streets of New York were alive, glowing with reflections from shop windows and neon signs. She slipped her headphones in, letting the music drown out the city hum for a moment. A notification popped up on her phone, a message from Ethan. "Dinner? To celebrate the campaign success. Nothing fancy, just a quiet place. You deserve it." Maya stared at the screen, fingers hovering. Then, slowly, she typed, "I'd like that. See you at 7. Her pulse quickened. She wasn't sure if it was a campaign success or the thought of seeing him outside the office, but either way, she felt alive. The restaurant was cozy, dimly lit, with small tables and soft jazz playing in the background. Maya arrived first, nervously smoothing her hair. Ethan appeared moments later, dressed casually, but every bit the same confident man she had come to know and somehow trust. "Good evening," he said with a small smile. "Evening," Maya replied, sliding into her seat. They ordered dinner. Simple dishes, nothing extravagant. Conversation flowed easily. Work, Eli, dreams, and favorite hidden spots in the city. Humor threaded every exchange, lightening the tension of the past weeks. At one point, Maya laughed so hard that she almost spilled her water. Ethan reached out, steadying her hand gently. "Careful," he said, voice soft. "We don't want another viral incident in New York." Maya's cheeks flushed. "Oh, come on. That was one time." "Doesn't matter. I remember." He smirked, teasingly. Her laughter softened into a quiet smile, eyes meeting his. The world outside, the office, the city, the chaos seemed to pause for a moment. After dinner, they walked along the rain-slicked streets. Streetlights reflected in puddles, creating streaks of gold and silver. Ethan glanced at her, expression unreadable. "You know," he said softly, "I never expected this. Our little mix-up this morning weeks ago, to turn into this." Maya smiled, brushing a stray strand of hair from her face. "Neither did I, but I'm glad it did." "Me too," he admitted quietly. For the first time, Maya felt free to let herself believe that life could be more than survival, more than late nights and endless responsibilities. That maybe, just maybe, some unexpected turns could lead to something extraordinary. The morning sun spilled golden light across New York City, reflecting off wet streets from the early spring drizzle. Maya Turner walked briskly, holding Eli's small hand, her coffee in the other. The city hummed around them. Car horns, pedestrians, vendors calling out. Yet for the first time in years, she felt a calm center within the chaos. Eli chattered endlessly about school, dinosaurs, and the latest superhero adventures. Maya laughed freely, not the exhausted, distracted laughter weeks past, but real, warm, life-filled laughter. Her phone buzzed. A message from Ethan. Meeting canceled. Coffee instead. She smiled and typed back, "See you in 20 minutes." At the cafe, Ethan was already seated, casually dressed, a warm smile lighting up his face. He waved, and Maya felt a flutter of anticipation she hadn't felt in years. "Good morning, Miss Turner," he teased. "Or should I say, morning hero of the marketing world?" Maya laughed. "Coffee first, flattery later." They shared a quiet breakfast, talking about everything: work, life, Eli, dreams. Ethan listened with genuine curiosity, offering advice when needed, teasing gently, but never condescending. There was ease between them now, a rhythm neither had to force. Weeks later, the marketing campaign launched to overwhelming success. Maya's ideas were praised across the industry, her work spotlighted in company newsletters, media interviews, and client accolades. But more importantly, she had found a mentor, a partner, and a friend in Ethan, someone who saw her as more than a single mother, more than an employee, and certainly more than a one-time Uber passenger. One evening, after another late-night campaign meeting, Maya and Ethan walked Eli home from daycare. The city's skyscrapers glowed in the twilight. Rain puddles reflected neon lights like molten jewels. Ethan carried Eli's backpack, teasing him about pretending to be a dinosaur on the sidewalk. Maya laughed beside them, the weight of the world feeling lighter than ever. "Mom," Eli said suddenly, tugging at Maya's hand, "can Ethan come over tomorrow?" Maya exchanged a glance with Ethan. His eyes held humor and warmth, and he nodded. "Of course. Only if I can bring cookies." Eli cheered. Maya's heart swelled. She realized that life wasn't just about surviving. It was about embracing the unexpected, the messy, and the extraordinary moments that arrived unannounced. The city streets of New York shimmered under the soft glow of evening lights, reflections dancing in puddles from an afternoon rain. Maya Turner walked hand in hand with Eli, his small sneakers splashing in shallow puddles, his laughter echoing against the skyscrapers. Behind them, Ethan Cole followed, carrying Eli's backpack, smiling softly at the little boy's endless chatter. The chaos of traffic, the honking taxis, and the hum of the city felt distant. A quiet bubble had formed around them, their own world thriving amidst the metropolis. Maya glanced at Ethan, and for a moment, the memory of their first encounter, a mistaken Uber, an awkward tip, and her mortified apology, flickered through her mind. She smiled, realizing how far they'd come. What had begun as an awkward misunderstanding had turned into partnership, respect, and something far deeper than she had dared to imagine. Ethan caught her gaze and offered a gentle smile. Their hands brushed, and she didn't pull away. There was no rush, no grand declaration, just a quiet understanding of two people who had found a connection against the odds. Eli tugged at her hand. "Mom, can we get ice cream?" Maya laughed, nodding. "Of course, buddy. Let's go." Ethan chuckled softly. "Only if I get some too," he said, teasing. The three of them walked into the glowing city night together. A single mom, her son, and a man who had unexpectedly become so much more than a CEO. Life was unpredictable, messy, and beautiful all at once.